Hare Krishna. So we welcome you all to this reading session on Krishna book, chapter number 6, part 2. So yesterday we had read a few pages, and today we will be completing this chapter, and tomorrow we will be having our test at 8:30 p.m. So let's begin this session by chanting this wonderful prayer from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 Rakshamam Krishna 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 Pahimam Ram Raghav Ram Raghav Ram Raghav Rakshamam Krishna Keshav Krishna Keshav Krishna Keshav Pahimam नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशातारिणे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's begin this session where we left off yesterday. So we had studied that Putna had just picked up the baby Krishna, or rather she saw Lord Krishna as a small baby in the cradle, and she realized that this baby is so powerful that he can destroy the whole universe within a second. So Lord Krishna then closed his eyes, because there are multiple reasons have been cited. Why did he close his eyes? So let's read further. There are 7 kinds of mothers according to the Vedic injunction: the real mother, the wife of a teacher or spiritual master, the wife of king, the wife of a brahmana, the cow, the nurse, and Mother Earth. Because Putna came to take Krishna on her lap and offer her breast milk to be sucked by him, she was accepted by Krishna as one of his mothers. That is considered to be another reason he closed his eyes. He had to kill a nurse or mother, but his killing of his mother or nurse was no different from his love for his real mother or his foster mother, Yashoda. We further understand from Vedic information that Putna was also treated as a mother and given the same facility as Yashoda. As Yashoda was given liberation from the material world, Putna was also given liberation. When the baby Krishna closed his eyes, Putna took him on her lap. She did not know that she was holding death personified. If a person mistakes a snake for a rope, he dies. Similarly, Putna had killed so many babies before meeting Krishna, and she mistook him to be like them. But now she was accepting the snake that would kill her immediately. So, one more reason. Yesterday we had read about 4 reasons, and today we read another reason, that since Lord Krishna had to kill one of his mothers, because Putna had come to offer her milk to Krishna, therefore she is also considered to be a mother. And Srila Prabhupada ji is telling that she got the same gati or the same facility as Mother Yashoda or his mother Devaki. So, but Putna could was accustomed to killing so many babies, but this was the last instance when she came across Lord Krishna. So let's read ahead. When Putna was taking baby Krishna on her lap, both Yashoda and Rohini were present. But because she was beautifully dressed and showed motherly affection towards Krishna, they did not forbid her. They could not understand that she was a sword within a decorated case. Putna had smeared a very powerful poison on her breast, and immediately after taking the baby on her lap, she pushed her bristly nipple within his mouth. She was hoping that as soon as he would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna very quickly took the nipple in anger. He sucked the milk poison along with the life air of the demon. In other words, Krishna simultaneously sucked the milk from her breast and killed her by sucking out her life. Krishna is so merciful that because the demon Putna came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled her desire and accepted her activity as motherly. But to stop her from further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. And because the demon was killed by Krishna, she got liberation. As Krishna pressed her breast extremely hard and sucked out her very breath, Putna fell down on the ground, spread her arms and legs, and began to cry, "Oh child, leave me, leave me!" She was crying loudly and perspiring, and her whole body became wet. So, now two important points that Lord Krishna, he is so merciful that since Putna came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled that desire and accepted her activity as motherly. He did not see the the bad intention, but he rather saw the positive aspect that she came to offer her own milk just like a mother, right? And uh, simultaneously, while sucking the milk, Lord Krishna suck out her life also, the life air from the demon, and she fell down, perspiring, and she started crying that leave me. Okay. As she died screaming, there was a tremendous vibration on the earth and in the sky, on the upper and the lower planets, and in all directions, and people thought that thunderbolts were falling. Thus, the nightmare of Putna witch was over, and she assumed her real feature as a great demon. She opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. She fell exactly like as Vritasur did when struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. The long hair on her head was scattered all over her body. Her fallen body extended up to 12 miles and smashed all the trees to pieces, and everyone was struck with wonder upon seeing this gigantic body. Her teeth appeared just like plows, and her nostrils appeared just like mountain caves. Her breasts appeared just like small hills, and her hair was a vast reddish bush. Her eye sockets appeared like blind wells, and her two thighs appeared like the two banks of a river. Her two hands appeared like two strongly constructed bridges, and her abdomen seemed like a dried up lake. All the cowherd men and women became struck with awe and wonder upon seeing this, and the tumultuous sound of her falling shocked their brains and ears and made their hearts beat strongly. So, we are finding a description of Putna's complete body over here, that her body was extending up to how much length? It was 12 miles long, and anything that came its way, it was like the trees, everything that came its way was smashed to pieces. And people were amazed that such a beautiful woman who came to feed Lord Krishna, and she finally turned out to be so demoniac, and rather what her body was she was actually hiding her true identity, right? So everybody was a little uh, awestruck that what exactly happened, and this tumultuous sound of her falling shocked their brains and ears, and their hearts started beating strongly. Okay, so then we move ahead. When the gopis saw little Krishna fearlessly playing on Putna's lap, they they very quickly came and picked him up. Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and other elder gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hooves of the cows was thrown all over his body. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to the living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow, the Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed with the urine of a cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of cows. So Srila Prabhupada is very nicely explaining that how important actually are cows to a family and society and to living beings in general. So Mother Yashoda and Rohini, when they understood that this kind of a mishappening has taken place, so what did they do? They performed the auspicious rituals. How? By taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. Then he was washed completely with the urine and the dust created by the hooves of cows. And certainly it's mentioned ahead also that he was smeared all over with cow dung. So everything related to cow, right? So what's the purpose? Why did they do all this? Because they just wanted to save little Krishna from all future inauspicious accidents. So this was their concern. Out of their affection, out of their love, they did so. After this purificatory process, the gopis, headed by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, chanted the names of Vishnu to give Krishna's body full protection from all evil influences. They washed their hands and feet, sipped water 3 times, as is the custom before chanting mantra. They chanted as follows: My dear Krishna, may the Lord, who is known as Aja, protect your legs. May Lord Maniman protect your knees. May Lord Yagya protect your thighs. May Lord Achyuta protect your upper waist. May Lord Haigriva protect your abdomen. May Lord Keshava protect your heart. May Lord Isha protect your chest. May Lord Surya protect your neck. May Lord Vishnu protect your arms. May Lord Urukrama protect your face. May Lord Ishvara protect your head. May Lord Chakradhara protect your front. May Lord Gadadhara protect your back. May Lord Madhusudana, who carries a bow in his hand, protect your right side. May Lord Ajana protect your left side. May Lord Urugaya, with his conch shell, protect you on all sides. May the personality of Godhead Upendra protect you from above. May Lord Tarkashya protect you on the ground. May Lord Haladhar protect you from all sides. May the personality of Godhead as Rishikesh protect all your senses. May Lord Narayan protect your life heirs. May the Lord of Shwetadeepa, Narayan, protect the core of your heart. May Lord Yogeshwaraha protect your mind. May Lord Prishnigarbha protect your intelligence. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect your soul. While you are playing, may Lord Govinda protect you from all sides. And when you are sleeping, may Lord Madhava protect you from all danger. When you are walking, may the Lord of Vaikuntha planet, may the Lord of Vaikuntha protect you from falling down. When you are sitting, may Lord Narayan give you all protection, and while you are eating, may the Lord of all sacrifices give you all protection. So, Mother Yashoda and Rohini have chanted so many names of Lord Vishnu just to invoke auspiciousness and protect their child. Thus, Mother Yashoda chanted different names of Vishnu to protect child Krishna's different bodily parts. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced that she should she should protect her child from different kinds of evil spirits and ghosts, namely Dakinis, Yatudhanis, Kushmandas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Vinayakas, Kotaras, Revatis, Jeshthas, Putanas, Matrikas, Unmadas, and similar other evil spirits who cause persons to forget their own existence and give trouble to the life, air, and senses. Sometimes they appear in dreams and cause much perturbation. Sometimes they appear as old women and suck the blood of small children. But no such ghosts and evil spirits can remain where there is chanting of the holy name of God. So Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, they chanted so many names of the Lord because due to their affection to Lord Krishna, they wanted to protect him, and they had a firm conviction that wherever the chanting of the holy names of Lord takes place, at that place all these evil entities will not be able to thrive. They will run away. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of the Vedic injunction about the importance of the cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore, she took all shelter in the cows and name of Vishnu just to protect her child Krishna. She recited all the holy names of Vishnu so that he might save the child. Vedic culture has taken advantage of keeping cows and chanting the holy name of Vishnu since the beginning of history, and persons who are still following the Vedic ways, especially the householders, keep at least 1 dozen cows and worship the deity of Lord Vishnu, who is installed in their house. People who are advancing in Krishna consciousness should take instruction from this pastime and also be very much interested in cows and the holy name of Vishnu. So, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that they had a firm conviction to take shelter in the cows and the name of Lord Vishnu, and it is a normal practice in Vedic times that people used to have at least 1 dozen cows, and they used to worship the deity of Lord Vishnu, maybe in the form of Shaligram or maybe in the form of a deity. Um, so, and those people, Srila Prabhupada explains very clearly, people who are advancing in Krishna consciousness should take instruction from this pastime. That means that first of all, they protection, that is, Prabhupada explaining the importance of cow protection. Second, he is explaining the importance of chanting the names of Lord Vishnu. And the third thing, that the householders especially, they should learn that the people used to, in Vedic times, people used to worship the deity of Lord Vishnu. So 3 teachings we can learn from here: importance of cow protection, importance of chanting of the holy names of Lord Vishnu, and third, serving the deity of Lord Vishnu in their house, in our homes. So then let's move ahead. The elder gopis of Vrindavan were so absorbed in affection for Krishna that they wanted to save him, although there was no need to, for he had already protected himself. They could not understand that Krishna was the supreme personality of Godhead playing as a child. After performing the formalities to protect the child, Mother Yashoda took Krishna and let him suck her breast. When the child was protected by Vishnu mantra, Mother Yashoda felt that he was safe. In the meantime, all the cowherd men who had gone to Mathura to pay tax returned home, and was struck with wonder at seeing the gigantic dead body of Putana. Nand Maharaj recalled the prophecy of Vasudev and considered him a great sage and mystic yogi. Otherwise, how could he have foretold an incident that happened during his absence from Vrindavan? So Nand Maharaj is now wondering. He's a very simple-hearted person, and what he's wondering that Vasudev must be what, a very great yogi, right? A great sage and a mystic yogi, because all the men who had gone to Mathura for paying taxes with Nand Maharaj, when they came back, they saw that such a big incident had taken place, and a demon so large, 12 miles long, had come and done some mischief in Vrindavan, and rather I should say in Gokul. And now what is happening? This was already foretold by Vasudev. So then he admired that how great sage and mystic yogi is Vasudev. So after his, so sometimes we get confused that during his absence from Vrindavan, so this word is synonymously used, although Lord, the residents of Vraja, I would rather say, are will later on move to Vrindavan, but as of now they are living in Gokul. So please don't get confused on this. These words or these places are sometimes used synonymously. After this, all the residents of Vraja cut the gigantic body of Putana into pieces and piled it up with woods for burning. So they did her last rites. When all the limbs of Putana's body were burning, the smoke emanating from the fire created a good aroma of aguru. This aroma was due to her being killed by Krishna. This means that the demon Putana was washed off all her sinful activities and attained a celestial body. Here is an example of how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all good. Putana came to kill Krishna, but because he sucked her milk, she was immediately purified, and her dead body attained a transcendental quality, because when they were burning the body of Putana, it was not giving out fumes, it was rather giving a sweet aroma of aguru. Aguru is a type of aroma. So her only business was to kill small children. She was fond of blood, but in spite of being envious to Krishna, she attained salvation because she gave her milk to him to drink. So she did very little service to Krishna, right? Her motivation was completely negative. She just wanted to harm, and rather, not even harm, but rather kill him. So now Srila Prabhupada explains that, so what can be said of those who are affectionate to Krishna in the relationship of mother, who with great love and affection always serve him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the super soul of every living entity. So if Putana did such a small service to Lord Krishna and she was uh, awarded which position? The position which was given similar to what Mother Yashoda attained or what Mother Devaki attained, right? So just one little service and Putana got that privilege, right? So therefore Srila Prabhupada explains that the Krishna is all good, right? And anybody who serves, yeah. So this what does this example explain? That the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all good, right? So anybody who comes in contact with Krishna, he will get purified. Srila Prabhupada gives an example that if somewhere there is stool and urine is present, so if the rays of the sun fall there, what will happen? That place will become purified gradually, right? We will not say that oh, the sun rays have fallen at this place, now sun has become contaminated. Lord Krishna is so pure that he cannot be impure, he cannot become impure. Rather, whosoever comes in contact with him, he or she becomes pure, right? It is concluded, therefore, that even a little energy expended in the service of the Lord gives one immense transcendental profit. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Swa alpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so sublime that even a little service rendered to Krishna, knowingly or unknowingly, gives one the greatest transcendental benefit. The system of worshipping Krishna by offering flowers from a tree is also beneficial for the living entity who is confined to the bodily existence of that tree. This means that those people or those living entities which are present in the body of a tree, if those flowers or fruits are offered to Lord Krishna, what will happen? The tree, when flowers and fruits are offered to Krishna, the tree that bore them also receives much benefit indirectly, right? So it is an unknowing service. Na? The archan process or worshipping procedure is therefore beneficial for everyone. Krishna is worshipable by great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. Krishna is worshipable by great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and Putana was so fortunate that the same Krishna played in her lap as a little child. The lotus feet of Krishna, which are worshipped by great sages and devotees, were placed on the body of Putana. People worship Krishna and offer food with great reverence and devotion, but automatically he sucked the milk from the body of Putana. Devotees therefore pray that if simply by offering something as an enemy, Putana got so much benefit, then who can measure the benefit of worshipping Krishna in love and affection? Therefore, only Krishna should be worshipped, for so much benefit awaits the worshipper. So, this is the glory of worshipping Krishna. This is the glory of serving Krishna. That if we even do little service to Krishna, he feels so obliged, and he rather, we would say that he gives himself to that devotee. So, how great is the benefit if somebody worships Krishna? Although Putana was an evil spirit, she gained elevation just like the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clear that the cows and the elderly gopis who offered milk to Krishna were also elevated to the transcendental position. Krishna can offer anyone anything, from liberation to anything materially conceivable. Therefore, there cannot be any doubt of the salvation of Putana, whose bodily milk was sucked by Krishna for such a long time. And how can there be any doubt about the salvation of the gopis who were so fond of Krishna? So there are two types of gopis. One are the younger gopis, and some are the elderly gopis. So this is being told about the elderly gopis. That undoubtedly all the gopis, cowherd boys, cows, and everyone else who served Krishna in Vrindavan with love and affection were liberated from the miserable condition of material existence. When all the inhabitants of Vrindavan smelled the good aroma from the smoke of the burning Putana, they inquired from each other, "Where is this good fragrance coming from?" And while conversing, they came to understand that it was the fumes of the burning Putana. They were very fond of Krishna, and as soon as they heard that the demon Putana had been killed by Krishna, they offered blessings to the little child out of affection. So people realized that this wonderful smell is coming from the body of Putana, and so they rather people were so much in love with Krishna that they offered blessings to him out of affection. So after the burning of Putana, Nand Maharaj came home and immediately took up the child on his lap and began to smell his head. In this way, he was quite satisfied that his little child was saved from this calamity. Srila Shukadev Goswami has given a blessing to all persons who hear the narration of killing of Putana by Krishna. What is that blessing? They will surely attain the favor of Govinda. So this is the benefit. If you read Krishna book in every different chapters, we get so much benefit just by reading, just by knowing about what are the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So if you hear the narration of killing of Putana, they will surely attain the favor of Govinda. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 6th chapter of Krishna, Putana killed. So now we will stop over here. So tomorrow we will be having exam on chapter number 6. So we wish you all the best for your exam preparation. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.